Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Get Real Show. We are here this week with Sam to hear about his story, a little bit about your background, going a bit off the beaten path, and then how you ended up channeling any negative experience in your life into creating a rock solid mindset and achieving everything of your dreams now.
Cool, thanks. Appreciate the nice words as an intro. I guess I should probably start with a bit of background on me and who I am. The accent's a giveaway. You hear me say that all the time. I'm from London, actually originally from a small town called Salisbury, which is like a traditional farmland type area in the south of England, very close to Stonehenge, if you know where Stonehenge is.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in Salisbury for 18 years. Actually came from a divorced family background, so I spent time between Salisbury and my dad was living actually in Surrey, which is just outside of London.
Mm-hmm.
So as I got to 18, I realised through some back and forth relationships that I wanted to now move towards London. And then I went and did a ski season in Italy, worked summer season in Italy in lakes and mountains doing hiking and stuff, which you would have loved.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually went on to work as a rep in Zante, selling party tickets and working in the party scene, which is, I guess, an introduction into my relationship with alcohol, my relationship with everything that comes around partying. And then I came back to London and got my first job in recruitment, and I've been in recruitment since 2018 now.
Mm-hmm.
That journey brought me into my current organisation, where I came in at director level and have been in the organisation for 12 months now. And I'm now the senior vice president for the New York office, which still feels weird to say every time I say it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do suffer with imposter syndrome around that, and I often think, why me? Why am I here? What am I doing here?
Yeah.
That's where mindset comes into it for me, and I want to talk about that as well later down the line. It's how can you keep your mindset solid, and how can you be so focused on the goals you're trying to achieve. And actually, I'm very fortunate that we've got a great organisation around us, and I've got good friends and family around me that remind me of why I'm here, and that I'm not the out of control party boy that I once was.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess to sort of move into the next part, it's what was partying for me, and the learns over the last probably 5 years from partying, what that did to my relationships, the lessons from that, and hopefully now I'm on the more positive side of a relationship with alcohol, the relationship with partying and everything that comes around that. And I'm now able to have a more positive experience with all of those things. And I'm now sober curious is probably the word, where I don't really drink at all anymore. When I do, I still go a little bit crazy, and I'm still known for that, and I still want to have those crazy times, and I very much enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I like to have that discipline and focus most of my life. And for a long period of time, I didn't have that. And recruitment, for anyone who doesn't know what recruitment is, it's an industry where you can earn money really quickly, and with money comes loads more opportunities to go and do things with less control.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for people to become out of control. And I fell into that gap with the partying every weekend, the partying midweek, gambling, and having negative relationships, and actually damaging relationships. And I lost people in my life in terms of friends and girlfriends and relationships with family, and did some bad things and things that I regret, but now look on as a lesson that I don't want to be involved in anymore. That's a big intro, but hopefully that gives a high level on me and also what I want to talk about today.
Absolutely. No, I think you covered a lot that I can relate to, and a lot where I really can't. But as far as the partying goes, so obviously you got into that pretty young. Like, what age do you feel like it started to become out of control? And did you know right away that you were getting out of control, or did it take some time to come to that awareness?
Yeah, I knew I was out of control, and I loved it, and I loved the fact that my friends would call me out of control, and I thrived off that. It would feed my ego. In I wanted to be the class clown, right? I wanted people to I wouldn't say like me, that's not the right word, but I wanted people to buy into that personality.
Yeah.
And I lived up to it, and I've still got that reputation within my friendship group for being a little bit out of control.
Yeah.
I guess like I started knowing I was out of control probably last year, after at least 3 years of drinking, partying Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, spending thousands of pounds every weekend, and like just in a slippery financial slope. And I just bought my first house last year, and it was the first time I was living by myself. And I realised that I had bills and I had responsibilities, and all of the money that I was spending, I couldn't afford to maintain a lifestyle. So I had to stop. And that was the moment that I realised, actually, I'd then get crates of beers and then have the party in my house instead of going to the pub or to the nightclub or whatever. I'd have everyone over at my house and we'd be having 2-day parties. And that's a very slippery slope, because I then had a very bad relationship with the place I lived.
Yeah.
And I'd come home from work and I'd hate it. And I still do hate the house that I bought. I don't live there obviously anymore, and I don't ever want to go back to that house. And that's because that relationship where I'd be having parties from Friday to Sunday with people that I didn't know, and people that probably didn't know me and probably didn't like me, and I probably didn't like them either.
Yeah.
And there was a group of people that I didn't want to be around, and I was paying for a load of stuff, and it was a toxic place, and I couldn't afford to do it anymore, and I had to stop. And I put myself in a financial difficult position that meant, like I had to terminate all of that. And the sort of ending point for me was, we went to a work event in August last year, and it was on a Saturday. We went to the races. Everyone's suited and booted, and I'd been out Thursday night, I'd been out Friday night, I'd had maybe 2 hours sleep in total between Thursday to Saturday. I turned up wearing sunglasses, big bags under my eyes, my CEO, and everyone's there, and I felt so embarrassed because I was this wreck of a man.
Yeah.
And I was meant to be turning up looking my best and feeling my best and wanting to play the character of this director that I was and that I deserved to be, and I was failing as what I deemed to be the perfect person. What that character, what that director was, and the person that I am, I wasn't showing up for. And I had to stop that immediately. And after that, I changed everything. I signed up to the gym the next weekend, stopped drinking for a couple of months. That was the changing point in everything. And that's like a slippery slope of, I'm going to stop and then trying to stop and starting and say I'm not going to drink, but then still partying.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to drink. And then again, I'd just be in that vicious cycle and spending money I didn't have and borrowing money and actually doing really well in my career, but failing in life. And I wasn't happy, and I was actually like miserable about everything and actually wasn't getting fulfillment. Yet I had to show up every day to work. I had to show up and act like I was in this great place. And I stopped that, and now I'm in a much more comfortable place, and now I'm able to talk about those things. And I think like there's often a load of learns and a load of takeaways from being in those negative situations, and sometimes it goes too far. And I was fortunate enough to have a very good support network around me of people that were like, you know what, you can be sober and we'll still go to the pub with you and you're still the same guy. And like that took some changing in my life. And I felt uncomfortable, and I was trying to drink 0% beers to like still feel like I could fit in. Whereas now I just don't need to. And I changed my priorities. So that was a slippery slope, and that changed a lot for me. And hopefully now I turn up consistently at the levels that I want to turn up, and I feel so much more confident in myself. I feel unrecognizable from the person that I was back then. And I'm overall like in a much better place. Yeah. But I can still have a relationship with alcohol. Yeah. Which is important to me.
Yeah. Really the main part that was different in my story, because I relate to so much of that, was just that I wasn't in the corporate world when I was drinking, so I can't even imagine having extra funds on top of that, because I know everything I was making I was spending on alcohol. And same thing, not only just spending on my own alcohol, had to have the parties, had to buy the extra stuff, had to make sure like I was putting on this huge show for everyone, to be the center of attention, to be the party girl, to have every jitney, every party, and just be known as that identity of the party girl, the party 100%. Guy. And I spent every single dollar I had. I remember in school, I got money for my books, and I spent my money on my books on alcohol, and then just was like, oh, I don't need textbooks for the semester. And I didn't, because I just didn't go to class by the end. But yeah, and it's just become so unmanageable. But I think we're fed this vision when we're younger that success equals getting to have those times, and that glamour looks like the person in the suit that's at the bar with a martini, having fun with their friends. And that's what we're fed, unfortunately, when we're younger. So then when we get there, especially, I think recruitment is so interesting to me, because I didn't know anything about recruitment growing up. It's not as big in the US, and then you do find out that it actually is pretty huge, but people just don't know about it. Like, it was not a discussed industry. Where I grew up, at least, it was a lot of teachers and firefighters and the basics. That was it. But you can make so much money so young. So giving, I mean, it's any sales job. So giving those funds to people that are so young, that always wanted that lifestyle, I can't even imagine a different outcome. I feel like you would have to go through that. I think you would really have to have your head on your shoulders from a very young age to not get into that. And personally, for me, if you have the attitude and personality traits of someone good in sales, you're probably not going to be that person.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing was that I got into management in recruitment, which was a high-paid environment, and naturally then the pressure was look after your team, take your team out, like be a good manager. And to me, a good manager was, let's all go to the pub, I'll buy all the drinks, we'll go and have a party in my house, we're going to have a party at your flat or whatever. And like my impression of what being a good manager or leader in recruitment was I have to fund the party, I have to throw the party, I have to be the party man, because like everyone in recruitment wants to go and have these great times. In fact, everyone who works in any type of job probably wants to go and have like the big parties and stuff, but the financial freedom you get from recruitment allows you to do that like all the time. And in that leadership role, I put so much pressure on myself to be like, no, it's on me, it's on me, it's on me. And that then led to like bad financial decisions and like really terrible situations. And actually, the way you need to celebrate in recruitment, in my opinion, is you need to find ways to give back to the team that actually allows everyone to thrive more. So I think we need to focus on things as leaders and actually as salespeople that goes, you know what, our team is a very high performing team. To make us even more high performing, let's do more personal development. So that's why I love spending time with people like you, Maddie, where you care so much about that personal development and you want to go to the next level. And as a leader, it's like, how can I encourage you to keep becoming more now? Not rewarding you with, let's go and have a party till Sunday morning. Like that makes you a worse person, a worse performer, and damages you. And I don't want to be around people that want to damage themselves. Like, I don't want to be around that environment. I want to be around winners, and I want to build up people, and I want people to win around me. And that is what it should be about, in my opinion. And that is why you need that whole team around you, like-minded people.
It's crazy because the people that tend to get in these situations where they are partying too much and going too far, it's people that like to take things too far, are the people that want to be high achievers at their core. Like, I was in an environment where it was a summer job, but we were all athletes and we were all working out 24/7 and hanging out together and working out twice at work, before work, after work, like trying to be the best versions of ourselves during that small time frame. And then we would go out at night and just anything, all hell would break loose. And then it was just acceptable to have that be excusable as not, at least I thought, oh, well, that's not actually me. Like, that's like blacked out me. Like, I took no responsibility as that person being part of who I am. Like, I genuinely had no attachment to who I was once I started drinking, and just took zero accountability, where I was like, I'm trying to be the best version of myself all day, and I try to be nice and I try to go the extra mile. Why do people keep seeing me this way? And it's because you eventually realize, like, that person is who I am. and you can't detach the two from each other. I've said that before, but it's so interesting because sometimes, and I've had so many different stories on here, and sometimes people are just straight up unmotivated and also struggle with alcohol, but a lot of times it's people that have this grand vision for themselves, but then they're doing this completely contradicting negative behavior that is literally stealing their success from themselves. Like, it's just very self-deprecating.
I think people have to realize that the actions they take are actually who they are, and people do this all the time, right? They'll say that they're this and that they're that and that they're the most high performing person in the world, and then they'll have 2 beers and that's it, they're a different person, and all of those words mean nothing because your actions don't follow. When you start to say the words that you want to be, and say this is who I am, this is what I want to be, and manifest those thoughts into reality, you then have to take that action. You can say all of these amazing things, but until you take that action, you're just words. And I'm so competitive with myself and in any environment that if I say I'm going to do something, I have to do it. There is no excuse. There is absolutely no way that I'm not doing that. Because I'm embarrassed and I'm a failure and I refuse to fail. And I think that you can understand people's mindset sometimes when they say things and they don't do it once. Well, then it's acceptable that you're not going to do it again and again and again. And then you stop showing up for yourself and you stop caring for yourself. And then you go, I'm going to drink now. I'm going to become that person. I'm going to become I'm going to take that pain away, take that stress away. And everyone's been there. Everyone's been in that situation. And then the next day it's regret. So then you order that pizza and you don't get up and you don't go and sort the shit out. You live in that same bubble, that same trap, that same vicious circle, and you refuse to get out of it. At some point you have to stop. And the day you decide I'm stopping or I'm making that change, then it's the actions that you take from that point. Because as soon as you allow yourself to fall back into that trap, it's game over again. And then you're back into that vicious cycle. And I was in that for a long time. And that cost me like relationships. I missed out on job opportunities. I've done well in my career, but I could be even further. And I will go even further now I've decided to make that conscious decision. I'm not going to hold myself back anymore, and I'm going to push that to the next level. So I think it's so important that people understand that the actions, the words you say are one thing. Start taking action and believing that action and doing that action with 100%, and you will change your life. 100% change your life.
No, I completely agree. And I was even just saying with my friend, we were running the other day and we were both saying like, we genuinely cannot believe where we are in life. Like it is just astounding where I've been to where I am now. And I'm not doing anything crazy in my career yet.
You definitely will. 100% you will.
Just my general life today. Like I am so grateful for my life. And we were both saying like the way to be so grateful, just completely ruin your life, completely ruin your own life for a while, and then get yourself out of it. And you will never be more grateful. Like when I'm running and the sun setting on the water, I truly believe in that moment there's no one on this planet more grateful than me. And that's the honest truth, and that's why I think like people might have the exact same situation as me and view things through a completely different lens. And it's because you have to have gratitude for the opportunities you're given. And I think like because we're in a country like America and we're not like walking 10 miles for our water, or like we have these necessities taken care of, that so many people can just fall into the trap of complaining about the small things or sweating the small things when it's like even just waking up, we should be happy and grateful. And the city we're in, like you might be like, oh, I miss my subway, there's so much traffic, it's so sticky, I always hear, oh, in the summer it smells like trash. It's like, get real. We're in New York, the greatest city on earth. This is crazy. But you just fall into like a negative mindset altogether when 100%. You're poisoning your brain 24/7 and then having to recover from that. And then like if you party all weekend, Monday you're recovering, Tuesday you're still feeling not good, then it's already Wednesday, and then Thursday you're back at the bar.
I think it takes longer than that. Like I think that it takes people a good few weeks to get out of that trap.
Yeah.
And like they go, oh, I'm not going to drink for this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you're not allowing yourself to like get over all of those toxins and everything that you've just put into your body.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like shit. You're depressed on Monday. You're depressed on Tuesday. You start to feel okay on Wednesday and Thursday, but like you're not 100% again. It takes time to build that back up.
Yeah.
And like then you get the excuses or, oh yeah, but I've had this plan booked for ages. All right, so you're not strong enough to go out and like you can't just go to the bar and see your friends without drinking.
Yeah.
So then I would ask the question, well, are you going to the bar to have a drink or are you going to the bar to see your friends?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to the bar to see your friends, you don't need a drink.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. You can go and just chill with people. You're allowing these excuses to set in, and that is... There's nothing I hate more than excuses and negativity. And I can't stand hearing excuses about stuff. Like, I take those personally, and I know they're not... like, people aren't giving excuses on a personal level.
Yeah.
But where I hear them, I'm like... It aggravates me to my core because I wish people could start to see actually all of the excuses that you're making are actually coming from you.
Yeah.
And when you realise the only person that makes the decision is you, no one's going, here's vodka, open your mouth or I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Then you start to realise that this is on you.
Yeah.
And that you make that decision, your conscious decision yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing for a lot of people. And actually, like, to the recovery point, I had my friends in New York, and it was, when's this, 3 or 4 weeks ago? Yeah, like, nearly a month ago now. And I'm not over it. Like, I'm not recovered from that. And, like, if I could tell the stories about what was going on, I'd probably get arrested, because it was just like a wild, crazy party time again. But that takes so long to recover from. And actually, it was a great time. And, like, I'm glad I had that time with my friends. But you can't just get over the shit you put in your body. You have to allow yourself to adapt to that.
Yeah.
And you have to know that it's a bumpy ride as well. You can't just be like, oh, I'm really sad today, and then not realise, because you were drinking 2 bottles of vodka last week and you did everything else and you weren't sleeping. Like, your body is of course like hating you right now, and that's why you're going to feel like shit. And then you allow that negativeness to be like, oh, my life shit. No, it's not. It's just you're recovering from the poison that you did to yourself the weekend. Why don't you start looking at the positives? Start reminding yourself of how great life is. Start doing what you do and practicing gratitude and understanding where you are is such an amazing opportunity. And you take that and then you realise that actually life's good. But people don't do that. They then go home and watch Netflix and eat pizzas, and then they get stuck in that trap again. Which
I have so much on that. Like, even I think you start to realize when you're on the other side, there's so many normalized behaviors in our society that just genuinely should not be normalized. And one of them is like going to the bar. If you are a grown man or a grown woman and you can't go to the bar and operate sober, like, that is not good. There's personal development that needs to be done, that you can confidently walk into any room anywhere and know, like, I've got myself. And that took me years. I'm not saying it's so easy, everyone go do it, but I think you need to take the step back to realize, like, that's somewhere I need to get to. If I can't be any situation, if you can think of any situation that you'd be uncomfortable in and would need alcohol to coax that situation, you need to think about how you could handle that situation without it and build that skill set.
I think you've got to cut friends off as well, because when I started saying I'm not going to drink anymore, the people I was hanging out with were hating on it and were being like,
then they weren't real friends.
Like, you can't come and have it. You can't come out. You're not coming out with us if you're not drinking. Like, what are you going to do? You're just going to, like, sit there in silence? Obviously not. No, I'm not going to come out and sit in silence. I was going to see you what I thought of my friends. And actually, you guys aren't my friends. Fuck you. And I'm not going to hang out with you guys anymore. And then you make new friends. And you have to... That's your network and your support network. And the saying is, like, you become the people you hang around with, right? The saying's way better than that. I've butchered that.
No, that's it.
So if you surround yourself with these people that all they want to do is sniff coke and take whatever pills and drink all weekend, and if you're not involved in that, they don't want to hang out with you, like, fuck them.
Then they're not your friends.
Move on. Get rid of those people. Go and find people that want to get up in the morning at 5 a.m. and go to the gym and better themselves and improve themselves and develop themselves and hold you to account.
Yes,
And
that.
I've changed all of my friendship groups. Not all of them. I'm obviously still friends with loads of my friends, but I've got loads of new group chats and loads of new circles of people now where it's like you're in one of these group chats now. One of the group chats we've got with some
Yeah,
of our friends
I
is
love it.
who can get to the gym first at the weekend.
Yeah.
If you told me a year ago I'd be posting in the group chat at like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning on a Saturday because I want to be first in the gym, I'd be like, no, I'm not. I'm not going to have gone to bed yet. It's 6 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm still out for Friday.
Yeah.
When you start to change your circle, you go, actually, I've got people around me that care. We uplift each other. We all motivate each other. We all send regular updates in that group chat about what's going on. It's a challenge. So like everyone's competing, and then we're all we're all saying well done to each other. That is friendship.
Yeah.
That's people who care about you. That's people who want more for you. And actually, I've built some solid relationships with people in the last year that are way better than any relationships I ever had with people that I've known for 10 years. Because those people for 10 years, all they wanted to do was drink as much as they could, party as much as they could, spend as much money on stupid shit, and they didn't want to develop. And actually, I'd spend my Sundays being like, why was I even hanging around with that person, and feeling a bit sick about it.
Yeah.
So my message is like, get that friendship group changed. Like, stop hanging around with those toxic people because they don't want the right things for you. Go and find the people that care for you. And if that means you've got to spend a couple of months by yourself, working on yourself, do it.
Yeah.
Because those 2 months of like loneliness, you'll find yourself, you'll understand who you want to be. You'll be able to put those things into practice by yourself, and then you're way stronger, and you can then develop further.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
I think you need to spend time alone. And I love, and this is probably shocking to you because I never stop talking, but I love to be alone. Like, I need my alone time to like recalibrate, recharge, reflect on everything, and then go into the social situations 100%. I think if you're just surrounded by that 24/7, that you can't put 100% into the social situations, and you're always just under what you should be doing. When I can actually take time to recharge, then everywhere I go, I know that I'm putting my best foot forward. But even like elongated periods of time I've spent over the past couple of years by myself, and like living in that loneliness and finding yourself essentially.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point today where if I don't see benefit from, and not benefit in the way where, oh, I'm trying to take, more benefit in the way where I'm uplifted, I hope they're uplifted, and it's a healthy friendship and relationship,
100%.
that it's not even worth having. So a lot of my friends right now are all around the country. Like, I'm not someone that's hanging out with my friends 24/7. And I genuinely like that, because then I get to focus on myself and I don't feel guilty for missing this, for missing that. Like, the big stuff I'm there for, and then anything that isn't, like, we just have our own lives at this point, and we can call each other and update each other and hold each other to account. But it's not like we're not teenagers where we have to be hanging out together 24/7 anymore.
Yeah, agreed. Obviously, I've moved to New York, right?
Yeah.
And I'm lucky I've moved with Andres, who is my amazing housemate. I wish he would clean. Andres, if you watch this, start cleaning. But we've come here, just us two, right? And the loneliness of that has made me develop so much quicker in these 4 months.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've got no distractions. There is no excuse. On the Saturdays where I don't want to get up and go to the gym, I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Lie in bed all day like a loser?
Yeah.
Like, get up and go to the gym. And like, being alone has forced me to do more. It's given me so much free time to work on myself, but also to continue to work into the business, which I want to grow and I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And like the alone time makes it better. But also then when I see people, so like my mum's visited, I've gone back to London, I've had friends out here and stuff, and like when I'm with those people, the core relationships now are so much better. I'm not bored of those people, and I'm a bit like you where I need my alone time, and I can get bored of people so quickly where, like, if it might sound a bit weird actually, but like when I'm with like friends or whatever, after a day I'm like, I kind of don't want to be with you anymore. Like, I'm obviously still friends with you, but I want to just chill by myself.
Yeah.
I want to go do my own thing. I like my alone time. So it's nice now that I've got my apartment. I'm all by myself. Like, okay, Andres is there, but like we're separate. We're not in bunk beds or anything. So I can come home. I can shut myself away. I've got my own time. At the weekends, I've got my own time.
Yeah.
But I get like my family are coming out quite regularly, and I'm really fortunate that I still get that time. So when I'm with them, it's like amazing bonding, like really deep relationships.
Yeah.
And I value that time. Whereas before, like I'd live at home and I'd see my dad, and I might just be like, "Please don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me. Like, I just want to go. Like I want to be alone."
Yeah.
So definitely, like the alone time allows you to build better relationships, focus on yourself, and actually, like I feel like I know what I want from my life. I feel like I know who I am now. I've still got so much development to do, but also I'm now thinking about the free time I've got. How can I actually do more with my life? How can I start to do more with the people around me? How can I be a better son, a better friend, a better leader? Like all of these areas I really want to develop on. And I'm really fortunate that I've now got that time to focus on me, because normally you don't get that time. It's let's go and watch football. Let's go and do this. You don't
All
get
distractions.
that. Distractions.
Yeah, that's why I think New York's the greatest place on earth, because I had the same experience where when I moved here, it was just I developed more living here, and it's not even 2 years. Then I was in Philadelphia for 7 years, and then obviously from the beach, but I've developed more in the past 2 years than my entire life combined. And I was
100%.
sober for multiple years before that too, but just the development has been just astronomical, because you're forced to be in tougher situations where you can grow. And then also for me, it's like, this is the city of surplus. So there's surplus of everything.
Yeah.
So you realize what actually means something to you. Like I used to be obsessed with wanting this, wanting that, and there's nothing wrong with wanting things, but when you're in a city like this, you kind of realize it's more about the experience than anything else. And same thing with my friends. Like when I get to see my friends, it's like an actual holiday that we plan forever, because it's so special. And then I just feel so much gratitude for that relationship and the fact that this person's my friend and we plan something special, and it's actually a really incredible time, rather than, oh, let's go to the bar tonight, over and over and over again. And even I have a better relationship with my parents. Like every relationship has seemed to improve, because it's actually special when you get to see them. And even going to friends' weddings or just being in those environments where you're like, man, I really have the best people ever. But it's because you almost don't see them 24/7. You actually have the time. So this is actually the basis of, I was just going to say, you actually have your own life. So I used to always be in situations, because of my drinking and because of the shenanigans I was in, I was behind at one point in my life. So I used to go see friends and they were checking milestones that I wasn't. So I would feel like bad about myself. I was like, I can't believe, like, I'm here, but I'm not happy. Like, I don't have anything to show for it. And I wasn't happy with who I am and what I was accomplishing. So now when I go to this, I actually know that I'm grinding in every way I can in the rest of my life. So then when I go, I'm enjoying myself. I'm like, this is awesome. This is great. I'm not even thinking, oh, well, I'm grinding in the rest of my life. I'm not thinking about it, because I'm just living in the moment, because I'm actually proud of what I'm doing day to day, and then can go be present in that moment and not be insecure or thinking about what I didn't do, or this person's ahead of me, this person's there. Like now if I meet someone who's ahead of me, like that's amazing. Like I'm not feeling insecure. That's terrific. And it's good for them.
That's a big thing, actually. Like for a long time I felt jealous of people, jealous that they had more money, jealous they had a nicer car, better watch, like all of these pointless things. And now I've got a better relationship with alcohol, I stopped feeling like that and started feeling better about, like, what can I learn from that person, or how can I grow with that person. And there's somebody that I speak to a lot at the moment, and they're actually a colleague but in another location. We speak all the time, and they're doing incredibly well with their lives. And for if a year ago I'd known how well they were doing, I would have been like, yeah, but like he's doing this, and like I'd have been hating on him. And now I'm just like, I want to call him every day and be like, I've had this situation, what would you do? How can I learn and grow from you, and how can I develop from you? And he's younger than me, but he's like he's like an inspiring guy, right? Because
Yeah.
I look at what he's done and what he's achieved, and rather than being jealous and bitter and hateful, I'm like, okay, what you're doing is really cool. You are leading an office, you're making loads of money, you're driving things in the right direction in your life. And actually now we've built a relationship where he will call me and be like, you know what, can you help me with this? And he'll ask me for advice with how I would do something. And I've now built this like deep foundational relationship with someone that a year ago I definitely would have hated him. Like I would have hated him. I know I would. And like that's a positive from not being just like spiteful and toxic.
And that's how you know that when you get hate, it's always coming from beneath you.
Yes.
Because that's exactly it. The same thing that I used to feel jealous of people, and now I'm genuinely happy when somebody is doing well.
Yeah.
And you can learn from them. And exactly what you said, we can all learn from each other in some capacity. Like you might be further ahead at X, Y, and Z, and then I could give advice on whatever.
Cool.
And that's how it generally is when you're trying to do the most with your life. You're going to be better in one area than other people are, but you also can't grow. Like where I came from was a very small town. It was very easy to be the big fish in a small pond, essentially.
Yeah.
Even Philadelphia is a pretty small city. Like it's just easy to feel like you're doing a lot, and then you come to New York and you're just a blip. And that's my favorite part of New York is you're literally just a blip, and it's very humbling and just completely takes away any ego because there's always going to be someone better than you. And the more you get into things, you actually realize how many levels you didn't even know existed. Like right now I'm getting into trail running, and it's like I'm running more than I ever have, and I realize how much like just what maniacs exist. Like
you are one of the maniacs.
No, but you're thinking, oh, you're so good at running and da da da.
You are.
And then but then you get there and you're like, this is wild. Like I'm the bottom 1%. And that's I'm not even saying that in a negative way. I'm excited that I'm the bottom because then I have my whole lifetime to climb up.
When I wake up at 5 a.m. and see like Maddie's just run 10 miles and like the message before that is Maddie's run 10 miles and it's like 11 p.m. You are a maniac. Like you're a freak of nature. You just want more.
Yeah.
That is, like, I don't know how you do it. Last night you sent a photo. You're at the office at 11 p.m. Like you've been to the gym. You work at 100 miles an hour. That is inspiring. Like you are a freak of nature. Like you just want it so badly.
Yeah.
And actually, that's a fantastic trait. And that is like so many people could learn so much from you, right? Because you show up. You give a shit, you want more from life, and there's no limit.
Yeah.
Like, there is no limit. We've added you into the challenge. It wasn't even, like, my decision. Everyone wanted Maddie involved in the challenge, because Maddie was this, like, all-inspiring, and Maddie is this all-inspiring just boss at fitness and everything and workaholic, and you've joined the chat where we all thought we were doing loads and going to the gym all the time, and you were like, all of us feel like we're nothing anymore. We're all still doing so much, right? But you're like a freak of nature, and 100% you inspire, and the impact you have on others is fantastic. Like you are unbelievably amazing, and you need to know that.
Thank you.
I'm always going to sing your praises. I think you're fantastic.
Thank you. Well, I think that like really brings up a good point about mental health is that some people are going to think about that and like take that in a negative connotation, like she shouldn't be doing so much, that you're gonna burn out, you're gonna this, you're gonna that. And like my take on mental health, and I've been through the ringer, I've been at many different points of mental health in my life, very bad mental health at different points, and there's no one size fits all solution. Some people might feel a lot better taking time off, going to the spa, going to yoga. Like I tried yoga a million times. I just get bored. And I'm the happiest I've ever been in my entire life because I'm doing so much. Yeah. And to me, that's not a negative thing. And I've been extremely depressed when I feel like I have so much to offer and I'm not doing 100%.
Yeah, I get that.
And I've seen stuff on that certain types of people need to be producing in order to feel like not good enough, in order to feel like themselves, essentially, or feel like they're contributing. And that's how I feel. I don't even care about anything else surrounding it other than I feel like I'm contributing to myself and the whole of the world. Like, why else would we be here if not to contribute to our own lives and try to grow and build? And that's why I think so many people today have mental health issues and have anxiety and have depression, especially our generation and the generation below us, because now everything's about let's just relax. And we shouldn't be. Like, we're human beings, and if you trace us back to the beginning of time, we weren't just relaxing. So we were built to actually be doing things with our lives and achieving. And that's why so many people suffer with that today. And then you said something earlier and I forgot, and I'm circling back, but people look for, when you said, oh, that's how people go home and just have Netflix and whatever and have pizza and go to bed, people look for immediate gratification today, thinking that's going to make them happy. And then that doesn't make them happy. Then they're depressed and they take a pill for being depressed. Then they're numbed out, and it's just so on and so on and so on. And that to me is not mental health. Like, mental health to me is not having a pizza and watching Netflix. That is not mental health to me, but it might be to someone else, and that's fine. If they truly feel good about that. And that's what you have to think, that someone else cannot tell you what your mental health is. You know, at the end of the day, you can't run from yourself. You can't run from your own thoughts. If you are truly happy doing that, then God bless. But if you're not, you need to figure out a solution.
A couple of things you said there that I want to comment on. The first was, like, you were saying some people might say you're doing too much. My opinion is the people that are saying you're doing too much are probably just jealous because they can't do what you can do. Because you can do what you do because you love what you do, and they probably don't love what they do, so they're not going to get the same gratification from doing what they do. You work so hard because you love what you do, and you do loads of fitness stuff because you love doing that. That's why you perform at that level, because you love it. So that's a big thing. And the people that, like, people in life will always say, oh, why are you working so hard? I go work on Sundays, right? My group chat, my friends will be like, oh, like, get a life. Or people will be like, why are you working Sundays? Get a life. No, I love working. Like, I would rather be in the office working than I would be doing anything else. So don't try and tell me, like, what to do with that. If I want to go to work, I'll go to work, and I'll go and work because that's what I want to do, because I love doing that. The people that will say that, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, you're working too hard. No, you just can't work at the level I can work at. Or that you can work at. The other thing is, I listened to a podcast, and I've watched this guy for quite a while. He's actually famous back in the UK, called Dapper Laughs. Does a podcast, Menace to Sobriety, which is basically, he was big coke taker, like major party addict, and he's now gone completely sober. And he talks about depression, and he's like, which is quite controversial to say, but somewhat true. The people that are depressed, it's like, if you stop drinking, stop taking drugs for like a month, do you still feel that way? Because a lot of people will say, I'm really upset, I'm really depressed, I've got whatever mental health disorders there are, but actually the damage they're doing to their body is causing so much of it. And, like, start loving yourself, and we spoke about this at the start. Start loving yourself, start caring what you put into your body, start focusing on how you treat yourself, the words you say, the thoughts you have, being grateful for stuff, dictating your life by saying affirmations and writing affirmations down and believing it, and focusing on you, and, like, stop drinking, stop sniffing coke, stop doing those crazy things, and then tell me how you feel. And okay, that might not be the fix for everyone, but for a lot of people, that probably is a big contributing factor to it. You're just not giving yourself the love that you deserve. You're not giving yourself the satisfaction that your body needs, and you're just damaging yourself. And that's also where you need people around you. And, like, if people have friends that they're looking at and their friends are not coming out of the bubble, pull your friends and just say to them, look, why don't you just stop for a while? Start giving your friends love, your family love, and get them out of that situation by fucking helping them. People are meant to help people. Like, stop just being so selfish. Start caring about the people around you. Start making impact to those people. And stop letting them run themselves down, and be a good friend about that. And if you're in that situation, like, have you thought about what you're putting into your body. Because even if it's not the drinks and the drugs, okay, but are you going home and just eating processed food? Are you not drinking water? Are you even like having substantial meals? There's so many basic things that, like, as you said, humans weren't just put on here to chill out and do nothing. They were also weren't put on this planet to eat pizzas, right? And I get pizzas are amazing and like they taste great, but like, have you put the right things into your body and have you done the basic nutritional stuff? Because that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And I think too, it's that you need to not look for a quick solution. That this takes a while, and to sit in the darkness and to sit in the pain for a while to come out on the other side. And that's what people are not willing to do, unfortunately. And that's really the only way to get to the other side. Like for myself, mindset is years, like some of it I've always had, but it's years of building, and it's genuinely something you have to build, and it's blocked on top of each other until you get more and more.
100%.
And that's what I'll tell myself when I'm running. I'll think like, and it's just an affirmation, but I'll think like, nobody is mentally stronger than me. And
I think I believe that.
No, but it's just something like you have to talk to yourself like that when you're in those situations to build that. Then when I'm in a situation, because life does hit you, you're going to experience tragedy. You're going to experience extreme hard times. So how are you going to react to that?
Yeah.
And it's not how you react to a negative situation comes from when you were in the gym at 5 a.m., when you were running. That's your reaction. And that, like, if you're not doing that, you're just being run by your emotions. You're letting your brain run you instead of running your brain and body. And that's the difference. And even I just saw a clip of a podcast saying, if I said to you, I was going to meet you at the gym at 5 a.m. every single day, Monday through Friday, for a full week straight, and didn't show up a single day, the next week on Monday, if I said, oh, I'll see you at the gym, you would know I'm not coming. You would not trust me. So that's what happens to ourselves. And that's why how your mind can become weak, essentially, because you're saying every single day, okay, tomorrow I'll go to the gym. Tomorrow I'll go to the gym. Tomorrow I'll go to the gym. And you don't realize how detrimental that is to your own mental health and your own person by breaking a promise to yourself. Like, if you feel attacked and you feel it's mean almost when somebody else breaks a promise to you, but then you'll do it to yourself. Like, it's the same thing as negative talk. Like, would you talk to someone else that way? Well, would you break a promise to someone else so easily with no shame? And no embarrassment or guilt? Like, you should feel just as guilty breaking a promise to yourself as you are when you're committing to someone.
We spoke about this on the train on the way here, right? Like one of my biggest like pet peeves is people being like, oh, I didn't go to the gym this morning, I said I would. Why are you telling me that? Like, that is not something to be like coming public with. And like, people, I don't think, put the pressure on themselves to be like, I'm going to the gym, no excuse. I'm going to the gym, I'm going to press snooze. There's a saying in my family which I brought in about my brother. I heard on a podcast a while ago, and my brother used to press snooze, and it's called being a snooze button pressing motherfucker. So now, like, in my family, when someone doesn't do something that, like, between my dad, my brother, and my stepmom and myself, if somebody doesn't do something at like a certain standard, I'm like, you're a snooze button pressing motherfucker. Or we'll say it to each other because that was like our little thing. And I was brought up with, it's not acceptable to do that. So now I can't, like, the mornings, my morning routine is a bit crazy because, like, if I miss something by a minute, I'm like really annoyed about it. Because that's how I was brought up. So when I hear people coming and be like, oh, I didn't go to the gym this morning, and then I'm like, okay, like, I don't know why you're telling me this. And the next thing I see is them eating, like, I don't know, a donut, and I'm like, this is so detrimental to yourself. At what point do you go, actually, I'm letting myself down, I'm failing, and I'm allowing myself to fail? They're so bad. It's so toxic, and it's damaging massively.
And I think too, the point when it could become negative to your mental health is if you're thinking, oh, if I don't go to the gym this morning, then I'm gonna like kill myself. Like, you need to have a strong enough mindset where you say, I'm going to the gym no matter what. Say you miss a day, you learn from that experience and you think and you reflect, think about this feeling, how horrific I feel right now. How do I not feel this way tomorrow? And you learn from
100%.
doing it, and you don't just say, oh, no problem, whatever. But also you're not causing harm to yourself. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
And for myself, like, I love ice cream after runs and I love treats, and that's fine if those are planned. I do. Because it's not something where you're not in control. Like, a lot of times I'll be on a run, I'm like, when I finish, I'm getting ice cream. Like, that's not an out of control decision. So it's really just trying to gain control of your own actions
100%.
in your own mind, and that's what can be challenging to get to.
I have a massive sweet tooth. Like, I at the start of the year, I did 75-day hard challenge, which is like a very strict diet, and like I had to cut out a lot of the shit and a lot of the bad food. And actually, I've realised, like, I'm doing another 75-day challenge now, the second one this year, but I've said I'm not doing the diet as strict because I love sweet stuff and I love like bad food, and I want to be able to enjoy my life, but I moderate things. So like, yes, I go to the gym at 5 a.m. without fail every day. But yes, I also will eat sweets if I want to eat sweets. Like, I want to have that control of my life. But to me, I'm earning the right to do that because I'm allowing myself to go, here's the work I'm going to do in return to get that reward. Now, like, realistically, you probably shouldn't have rewards as something that's negative to it. That being said, I absolutely love sweets, and I'm not about to give them up. So, like, that's my way of justifying it. And I think that you need to be able to have that give and take. What isn't acceptable, in my opinion, is I'm not going to the gym. I feel bad about not going to the gym. Oh, now I'm gonna, because I feel bad, eat shit. That's a really negative cycle, which a lot of people do. So that's something that people need to be aware of. It's if you've done something bad and you feel bad, the reaction to feeling bad about it is not to make the situation worse. It's line in the sand, like, learn, we go again. But then I also think people need accountability partners and people that go to them. Like, I can't not go to the gym at 5 a.m. because Andres would come and grab me out of my room. Like, I know he would. He's never said to me, like, if you don't turn up, because he knows I'm turning up. He also knows that if he doesn't turn up, I'm getting him. That's not a rule that we've, like, said to each other. We just know that's the situation because we're going to hold each other to account. And you need those people in your life that pick you up and elevate you and drive you to the next level and hold you to account.
100%.
When you're held to account with something, you have to do it. I made bad financial decisions for a long time and probably still do, right? I've brought my dad involved to hold me to account with my finances. So, like, I send my dad updates on my finances. I send my dad, like, spreadsheets on my finances because I now know I've got to justify certain things. So I won't go and do those things. Whereas before it'd be like, fuck you, it's my money, I'm doing what I want. And next thing, I've got no money left. So, like, accountability is huge, and you need people in your life that hold you to account, and you need people in your life that care to hold you to account and are going to do that as well.
So many things on that. The first thing, like, looping back to the having the sweet when you've actually, like, did what you need to do. I even feel like that about having the other side of my personality. So a lot of people don't realize how intense I am because I'm so goofy and, like, always trying to be funny and, like, have this crazy side to myself. And today that is actually real. Like, that is part of me, and I'm so happy to have both sides. And it's because my intensity is actually being followed through. And at times in my life, I've been the person that is being really over the top and demanding all this attention, and then not been following up on what I need to. And then that's when I feel like imposter syndrome, like, oh my gosh, like, everyone thinks I'm like the funny one and whatever, but I'm actually so depressed. And that's, again, you start feeling bad for yourself. But you actually can do whatever you want when you're keeping the promises to yourself. Not whatever you want, but you can actually give yourself the freedom to have a treat and to have the extra laughs and extra fun, because you know I'm doing both. I'm gonna go out when my friends here and have a great time and dance all night, but I'm still going to wake up in the morning and go for my run.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I find it extremely beneficial to have accountability partners too, even if it's not like a spoken one. Like, I'm so lucky and grateful. I have a friend that I made in New York that's become one of my best friends, that we go out to the trails every weekend.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm not as responsive as I should with texts and follow up and whatnot, but like, I'm going to be there. Like, because we're total opposite personalities, where, she'll be planning the route and actually putting in the legwork, and then she's like, all right, meet at my house at 9, and I might have some scarce responses, but I'm going to be at her house at 9 no matter what.
Good.
And I think that's awesome. And even being in like the 75 hard chat, like, no matter what, right now I'm training a lot. I have a really big race, but it is extra motivating to be like,
Good.
just do the extra mile, you know, just do the extra whatever. Like, right now my watch isn't calibrated, and it's it's my own fault. No, I'm gonna say it's my own fault, because my friend tells me every single weekend, but I have to run extra to hit, so it's like 7 blocks behind every 10 miles. So if I'm like, want to send a picture that I ran 10 miles, I have to run 10:07. So now, like, if I was by myself, I would just stop at like officially 10, and now I'm like,
I never knew that.
I need that.
So the chat holds you to account so much.
I was like, I need to send that tenner in, you know?
Yeah, if you sent a 9.3, there's no way anyone would believe you.
No one would respect me, you know? So I gotta hold my own.
No, we would respect you, we just wouldn't believe you.
Yeah. So,
no one else is running anywhere near 9.3 miles, especially
yeah.
like 5 in the morning and the night before.
Yeah. But I think it's so important. And then, just to be in circles where you're uplifting each other is just
$1,000,000%
changes your life. And I'm just really grateful. I'm in a spot right now where I have multiple different layers of community, and like, to be able to have it in an office space is unbelievable. And that's the whole reason I came to the company I'm at, is because I heard the CEO talk and was like, and I was running while it was happening, and I was like, I need to be there. Like, it just like lit up this part of myself that I knew was like dormant inside of myself. And I told myself, because I did not deserve the job at the time. I was not doing anything impressive before. And I told myself, if I got that opportunity, that I was giving 110%, never looking back. Good. And that's what I feel like I tried to do.
I mean, you definitely give 110%. I think your work ethic stands out like leaps and bounds, and I speak about it like all the time, right? And I spoke about it today. Your tenacity, your want for more, your sheer drive to want to perform is leaps and bounds above most people I've ever worked with. And in recruitment, as you know, it's swings and roundabouts and like a conveyor belt of people. And I've worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and I struggle to find anyone that's got your work ethic and tenacity, and like, it's inspiring, and that's why I want to spend time with you, and that's why I want to work so closely with you, because I find being around you is motivating, and having someone that actually wants to wake up in the morning and wants to want more makes my life easier, makes me feel like I'm not an outcast, because I think it's easy when you've got this drive in your life to be like, am I weird? Like, why does no one else want it as much as me? Why does no one feel it as much as me? Why is no one as passionate as me? And actually, when I work with you, it's like, brilliant. Me and Maddie are in sync with what we want out of life, what we desire from our lives, what means the most to us. I know I could call you and talk about something, and I know you're in line with me. I know you're in sync with me. I know our mindsets align, and like, I get that thrill and passion out of that, because I know I can be like, Maddie, let's have a call on Sunday at 7 p.m. like we did last week. Yeah. And I know that you and I can talk about a million things, and I know that we've both got the same goal in mind, and we might have different angles to achieve that. Yeah. But because we both care so much about that one thing, I know it's getting done. Yeah. And that is so rare to have people that are on the same wavelength. Very, very, very few people I've ever worked with feel like that. Yeah. And also, like, with our CEO, it was, I've never met anyone as like fantastic as he is. He holds me to account beyond belief. He's changed my life massively, and made a huge impact on everything about me, and has made me the leader I am today. 12 months ago, I was a bad leader. I didn't I did not care. Like, I cared, but I cared selfishly.
Yeah.
All I cared about is how much money can I get this team to do so that I'm getting paid. I didn't care about, are you developing? How have I helped you this week? Have I impacted you? Actually, what I've learned from my CEO is strip all of the selfishness out of it. Yes, of course, I'm trying to get paid as much as I can. Like, I work in sales. There's no hidden fact about that. But he's taught me how to get the most out of my team, how to get fulfillment out of developing people, and how to actually feel good about all of that situation. Like, I'm a leader now. Like, I back myself. I'm 100% a leader now. And only because of the work that our CEO has done with me, and only because of our CEO and other people that I met in the business. And of course, there's other people in the business that have helped.
Yeah.
But only really because of that, like, enthusiasm and passion, am I now as fortunate as I am. And that's why I wanted to join the business as well. Like, it's so weird. We're so lucky to be working in a company that gives us the platform to go to the next level. Like I said, there's a lot of people that make you feel weird about wanting more. I almost feel like, why don't I want as much sometimes now? Like, that's so strange, right?
Yeah.
And for a long time, I was like, oh, no one around me wants it as much as me. I'm being held back. Like, in previous businesses, I was trying to change things and trying to push for growth in other areas. And like, I didn't do everything perfectly and didn't have like a great structure and stuff, but I wanted more. Whereas now I'm like, wow, like, where is the limit? There's no limit. Like, we can do so much. We've got such a great platform to do it. We've got people around us that want it so badly that I'm like, I love it so much, and like, I buzz off it so much.
Yeah, no, me too. And today I do want everything. I want everything in this world, but what people cannot take from me is what I want. I don't want the watches and all the typical sales things. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting that stuff, but for like, I want something that I want to build, but nobody can take away. And the only thing nobody can take away is your mindset and who you are and your character.
100%.
Like, your character, people can try to say things about you, but if you're sure of yourself and you are confident in yourself, you know that the words can be false. And that is just something that no matter what, you cannot lose. And you can lose yourself for a little bit, but what you've built will always still be there to pull yourself back up and still have all of that base work that you've put down.
100%. That's actually inspiring. Like, you've never, I know, like, what you're doing this for, but you've never said it the way you've just said it to me. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, I've said before,
think that's very good.
Now I want things you can't buy. So everything you can't buy is your attitude, your personality, the way you look at life, your gratitude. And your motivation and who you are as a person, and skills obviously as well are terrific. But for me, it's just having like actual happiness. And
I think it's so important to know why you're doing it. Like, it's so important. I am a little bit more materialistic with some of the stuff. Like, of course, you know that, right? But like, a lot of what drives me is to do with the financial freedom that I'm going to make, and the financial freedom that I'm in the process of making, and that allows me to give my family the life that I want. Like, I'm a very big family person, and I'm doing everything I'm doing because of all the things in my family life that I've said I'm going to achieve. And like, I've said to my family that, you know, I want to fly them on private jets, and I want to take them to dinners, and I want to buy them houses, and I want to retire my parents, and like, I've got this like list of just like stuff I've said in my life that I'm going to do. Like, I remember saying to my cousin when I was maybe like 10, I'm going to be so rich, and he wanted a Lotus Elise. I was like, I'm going to buy you a Lotus Elise. Like, I will do that. Still, I will do that to today. I probably said that 20 years ago, or like 18 years ago. I back myself still to today. I will buy that man a Lotus Elise because I said I would do it. And that's why I love sales, because you can do all those things. At the same time, I agree with you 100%. Like, happiness doesn't just come from buying things or doing things, because at some point the money becomes irrelevant. Like, I believe that. It's then, how do I impact other people? And I'm so passionate that I want to be able to change people's lives, and it not just be about me. How do I change the people around me? How do I develop the people around me? How do the people around me feel? Am I leaving a lasting imprint on people where they feel happy, where they feel passionate, where they feel infused about stuff? Or you know, like, am I failing? Is the other option there? And the
Yeah.
most important thing for me is make people happy, let them know that they're good enough, they want to be around me, and they back what I'm doing, they back what I'm driving, and they feel that impact. That's ultimately where I want to get to. And I'd love to like build my own business at some stage, develop my own brand, and like I'll do those things. I'll build my own business, I'll develop my own brand, and I'll build a legacy after that. But yeah, that's long term.
Yeah,
that's a long-term vision, right?
And by no means am I like demonizing money. I love money, and like it buys you exactly what you said. It helps you give back to people. It helps you give to your family. And I even think like I'm a huge family person too. I want to have my own family. Like tragedies can happen. Something happens to your child. Something happens to your mom. Like I want to be able to supply the best healthcare possible and just not have there ever be a situation where I'm like, oh, things could have turned out differently if I had more
100%.
finances. That's the difference that real money can make.
Yeah.
And then also, yeah, it's amazing to be able to buy like my little brother a nice dinner or what was that?
Hermes bag.
Yeah. Or like give my family things that they've never had before. And definitely like if a friend needs to borrow money or just like those are the things that fulfill me today.
Sure.
Like I've gotten to buy myself a couple nice things and then I'm like, why did I even do that?
You shouldn't feel like that though. Like you work hard, you deserve those things.
Yeah, no, I think that in some cases, but some things are, and that's the difference, and that's something I learned in New York. Some things I actually like, and that is the difference. Some things I think I was told equals success.
Yes.
So then you want it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I don't even like this. Why did I want it? That's the difference. Like I'm huge into fashion. There's nothing wrong with getting yourself nice things, but make sure you actually like it.
Agreed,
and that
yeah.
Kylie Jenner didn't tell you to like it.
Yeah.
Because that is the major difference because there's always going to be trends. But yeah, exactly what you said about like, are you going to fail at the end of the day? And this is something I always tell myself. And again, it's a little over the top. But I always say when I'm running over and over again, like, you can't beat me because I'm addicted to win.
I love that.
because I'm addicted to winning and I'm addicted to learning. And the only way you learn is by failing.
100%.
So if I'm addicted to learning and winning, there's no way you can beat me, but I'm also only in competition against myself. And that's like, no matter the outcome, if I'm winning or failing, I'm taking something major from that and moving myself forward. And yeah, I think overall, like we definitely went on a very intense tangent, but like the theme of this episode is like mental health is not just one box of, okay, let's all have self-care. Self-care is amazing. And I love getting a massage and I love getting a pedicure and all of that's great. But other people need this side to mental health.
Yeah.
And they might listen to a bunch of my episodes and be like, well, I still feel depressed. And that's what some of the content out there is saying, oh, do this, do that. And then they're still depressed. Like, what's going to solve it for you? Because for me, I might have to go run 20 miles in the woods. And for another person, that would be horrific. And they just want to like watch a movie. And like, everyone needs to figure out what works for them and go
100%.
with it and not try to pick apart other people's solutions. And I think that's the true way you know if you're actually doing the right thing.
Great.
Do you see what someone else is doing and think like, oh, well, that they're not mentally healthy or that's not mental health, because you should be worrying about yourself.
Great. Thanks for having me on as well. It's been great.
Yeah, absolutely. If you got to, closing question, if you got to go back and teach your younger self, like 16-year-old Sam, a lesson, what would you say to him?
What, do I know where I am today?
Yeah.
So I think it would be more around like being a bit more responsible. I think I was, especially like around 18, 19, I had a massive ego and I didn't care about me.
Yeah.
And that led me to fall out with my mum, my dad, my family, and like have horrible relationships and toxic relationships and like I really hate myself for some of those things, and like I'm so glad I went through that experience and I've learned from it. But when I look back, I'm like disgusted with the way I behaved. And actually, at 16, like I should have. I was going to the gym and stuff at 16, and I fell off that bandwagon because of alcohol. And I'd make sure that the 16-year-old me knows that personal development will push you so much further. If you focus on yourself, you will get to where you want to be a lot quicker with a lot less bumps in the road, and don't party as hard.
No, honestly, I don't regret it because it made us who we are today.
Yeah, of course.
And I would have never gotten here without being an absolute crazy person. So
You still are an absolute crazy person.
Just in a different way. But thank you for coming on
Anytime.
and getting real.
Yeah, thanks for having me.